to explain to our viewers, in your view, what makes him such a popular leader today?
Inspirational futurism. He's an inspirational leader, and he has planned many tomorrows and many day afters for India. And that's what leadership is about. Leadership is not about living in the present. Leadership is about imagining the future and preparing your people for it. Leadership is about inspiring people so that they can aspire. Leadership is about inspiring the commonest of the common, the youngest of the young, the oldest of the old, and ensuring that through that inspirational zeal, you set an example that people are not only willing to follow, but are delighted to follow. Leaders plan for tomorrow. People, ordinary people, plan for today. You've got two eminent people on the panel, Dr. Paul and Vikram. They will tell you that leadership is ultimately not about how many votes you win, but how many hearts you settle. Leadership is about how many people you align on a national grid of thought and deed, not about how many people you align on the basis of party's ideology. So Narendra Modi, to my mind, has risen above all of these and ticks all the boxes. Many years ago, on one of your summits, Times Now Summit, I talked about brand Modi, where I said that it is important for people to understand that you don't necessarily have to agree with your leader. But many years later, the thoughts, the deeds, the inspiration of that leader will come to you in good stead. Go back in time, you're too young, you may not have even been born then. When Ronald Reagan became president of the United States, people laughed. Today, many years after his demise and obviously demitting office, Ronald Reagan is seen as one of America's finest presidents. Leaders heal, but they heal through development. They don't heal through empty promises. That's what Narendra Modi has done. And to my mind, and I'm sorry that I took so long, if I were to define Modi, I would say that inspirational on the one side and future forward on the other. Because you can look to the future without planting seeds. Great leaders, as Jamshedji Narsarwanji Tata said, don't plant trees, they plant men and women. They equip them. They make them believe in themselves. And Modi has risen beyond the shores of India. Every Indian, whether he is in India or outside, of Indian citizenship or just of Indian origin, today feels proud. It takes a lot to be able to traverse this kind of geography. Sorry for taking so long.
No, but you've made some really interesting points, and clearly it's not about winning votes, it's about winning hearts. That's a very, very important point you made. I'm going to go across to Dr. Vikram Sampath now. What is your view?
Thank you. And no one can, be a better spokesperson after what Suhel has so beautifully and evocatively, I think, summarized. But for me, one word, if one could at all hazard a word for someone of the stature of Mr. Modi, I would say he's a Yug Purush. Someone who comes once in a generation or the history of a nation. There have been so many people in this long, stormy history of this country who have left a very indelible mark on the country. And Mr. Modi, when the history of this country is written, I'm sure this chapter of in the annals of India would stand out for that. And along with inspiration and aspiration that Suhel spoke about, I think Mr. Modi also leads by example. It is one thing to preach. It is also something to put in that hard work very visibly and to when all of us look back, 11 years ago, pre-2014, India on all parameters, whether it is internal security, it is the economy, and as Suhel rightly said, the very self-image of we as Indians, I think it is no surprise for anyone that we've made a huge 180-degree shift since then. And in this lies not just gimmicks or PR, which can only take you that far. There is a strenuous hard work led by the leader himself, and which is then, transmitted down to the rest of the team. So a leader leads by example, and that's what Mr. Modi has done. And for someone like me who comes from the culture and the history, background, these 11 years, people do keep talking about decolonizing and so on. But what does that entail? What all does that mean? How do you decolonize a mind which has had about 150, 200 years of, Macaulay's education and the, Western thinking that we've been so conditioned to? And these could be, some could call it symbolism. It could be a few name changes here. Rajpath becomes Kartavya Path, Lok Kalyan Marg. There is a image of Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose at India Gate. So all this could seem for some people as symbolism, but then symbolism is what works in politics. Gandhiji understood it. The charkha actually did not win us freedom, or just making salt in Dandi did not win us freedom, but the very powerful imagery and symbolism that brought about. So along with some tangible efforts on cultural restoration, reclamation, identifying ourselves as a nation and people with pride by looking at our past, our civilization, our culture, without a sense of self-loathing that we were used to, especially after independence. I think that's been a paradigm shift in these 11 years, which is very palpable for every sane Indian who would like to see it. But if someone wants to always put on political lenses, that's another point. And I fully echo what Suhel said. In these days of vote chori and all of this that's going on, I think it is more of a dil chori that Mr. Modi does everywhere, and everything cannot be orchestrated. One must give credit where it is amply due to someone like him. And through you and through my fellow panelists and on behalf of the entire nation, if I may, we wish the Prime Minister a very, very happy birthday and many long years of health, happiness and service to this nation, which is his single-minded focus. Or that's what I could gather in the couple of brief interactions that I've had honor and pleasure of having with him.
Well, I'd like